And we are live. Mm, so hot. Hi P! My suki. I miss you too. Have some coffee with me. Ah, yeah, George is sick of you. Can't blame George. Hi Chris. Hi CJ. Chris CJ Nomad. What country are you in now? Mm, so good. 3 minutes and then I'm gonna start my Q&A. So if you have any questions, just ask them. And our topic is about vet and vet visits, how to make it easier, why it's painful for them to visit the vet, why it's painful, scary, emotionally, physically, all those things I'm gonna discuss in hopefully less than 30 minutes. After that, I'm gonna save this video and then I'm gonna post it on my website so people can just watch it and learn from it. If you are from the future, I am from the future. I am filming this at at the height of this COVID-19 pandemic, and it doesn't matter when I'm filming this, you're still gonna be able, if you're watching this, if you're from the future, you're still gonna learn from it. So even if you're not a part of this conversation, technology is making it easy for everybody for this Q&A to be available for you, and I'm gonna make it available. So, who else is here? Hi, Andre. Good morning, Brad. Request. Oh, you. Of course. There you go. Hi, sis Gail. Mama. So my dogs are so tired, and I've given them their breakfast, and then before that, I've given them, of course, their hour walk, and I've also given them their scratch session. I always do that every time I walk them. We stop at a certain location, and then I have, for Kaya, I have a brush that I use. For Alec, he just likes being scratched, especially now that he's suffering from allergies. He's so much better now. He still has some, spots, especially on his butt part. And hi, Reens. Hi, Ilvana. Are you having your coffee with me? Hi, Grish. I miss you. I miss our breakfast at the Ivy. Super social place. Champagne at what, 9 a.m.? Oh,
Here's a reminder.
yeah.
Start the show.
There's one more reminder.
Here's a reminder. Start the show.
Okay, so that's my cue. Let me just put this down and get my sarap. Get my trusty notebook. And what's going on? Yes, coffee, Ilvana. So, as promised, we're going to talk about vet visits and why they're so painful physically and emotionally, and how to make it easier for both your dog and yourself. Because when, just like me, I care so much about my dogs that even my cats, even my turtles, that every time I find that they're suffering physically, emotionally, when I bring them to a place, it makes me suffer as well. And then they see that, and then if they suffer from seeing me suffering, from seeing them suffering, so it's a fucking vicious cycle, right? So let's first, and then maybe later, I'm gonna open, because this is a Q&A, I'm gonna open this platform for a live Q&A for 5-10 minutes. We'll see. Next, so the reason, let's start with a why. I always like, whenever someone asks me how to deal with things, especially visiting the vet, I always want to address the why, because the how is not normally, it's very dangerous for me to give, for anybody to give the how, because you may not be addressing the issue. And you just might be addressing the symptom. Okay? If that makes sense to you, give me a high five, a thumbs up. This is not Facebook, but you know what I mean. Give me a heart. So, let me ask you about the why. So, let me discuss the why first. The reason why, in general, and not limited to, the reason why, at least from my experience, my dogs are so, my dogs hate the vet clinic, hate my vet, because there's a huge pattern that every time when they're already feeling sick, that's when you bring them to a vet. Imagine you feeling really bad and your body's aching, your body's itchy, and then you get to be brought in a place where, one, you don't know. Let's just say that it's a neutral place. You don't know the place, and here comes a doctor, and he's a person that your dog, puppy or an adult dog, especially adult dogs, because my dogs are rescued, and I have dogs that have been rescued as an adult, many of them. So here comes this guy, normally in a plain shirt, a scrub suit, or a white lab gown. Is that what you call it? Like a blazer. So he's very visually significant, right? And he's a fucking stranger. Here comes a fucking stranger trying to hold your dog in places where he doesn't want. On top of already feeling bad, physically feeling bad, he goes to a familiar place, and then he gets to be held in places where he doesn't want to be touched by an unfamiliar person. And those three reasons already is a recipe for disaster. So that's one of the reasons why. Number four. So he's already feeling ill, physically sick. Your dogs are being brought to a place a place that they don't know, unfamiliar place. They are being held by people who are not familiar in places where they don't prefer. And then they get shots. Okay? For most dogs, they're not tolerant of needles, injections, touch, especially if you have rescue dogs. Okay? Because fear is very important for them, so they can survive in the streets or wherever they need to survive. But it's not limited to just rescue dogs and native dogs. Okay? So those are the basic reasons why in my experience, dogs are so afraid of vets and the vet clinics. Next is consistency and pattern. So if you know a little bit about psychology, it's a common concept that a lot of us thrive in patterns and consistency. Okay? In months and years, you create this pattern. The dog creates a pattern in his head, which is correct. That every time he feels bad, you bring him to a place where he doesn't like. and just he remembers that place because he had a significant experience in that place. For some dogs, they already remember that that place is a place of pain. Okay. For other dogs, it takes them 2 to 3 experiences of that constant feeling of being sick, being brought to a place that previously was neutral and now has a very bad reputation, and being handled by the same vet, or maybe even not the same vet, but the same person or the same, but it's the same unfamiliar people that will lead to getting shot. There's no way to explain it verbally to your dogs to calm down and it's for their own good. There's no other way of telling that to your dogs. So do that pattern, and it's not just a recipe for disaster, it's a recipe for a nightmare for your dogs. It's a recipe for a nightmare. So that's the why. And it's not limited to that. And you can add some more reasons from your experiences. This is a discussion, this is a Q&A. Put them in the comment section below. And I'm gonna write it down later. I don't know how this is my first time doing live Instagram, and I don't know how this works. I read that I can save the video after. I hope I could, and then maybe I can post it, and then later you can add all your additional infos from your experiences. And I'm excited to learn from them as well. So let's discuss. Let us discuss the how. Okay, the how should start at a very early stage of your dog's life. Okay, if you have a rescue dog and they're not a puppy, it's when you have finally adopted this dog, is when it should start. By the time that you're able to have access to the dog, it doesn't matter if it's a puppy or not. That's the earliest time possible. Okay? Start as soon as you can. Okay? And what are you supposed to do? One, husbandry. Husbandry involves handling. Husbandry involves socialization. Big word. A lot of people get it wrong, at least in my meaning of what socialization is. And I have an article that you can read in my website, bradfeliciano.com. It's about sociability. Husbandry is a lot about handling, sociability, the care for animals. That has a lot to do with touch, and even being familiar with various people, equipment, instruments, like the syringe, the weighing scale, and specifically for my dogs, it's the muzzle. No, not for my dogs, just one, Kahati. And I'm going to talk about muzzle training your dogs later on. So that's husbandry for you. How and when to start, again, the earliest possible is when you get access to the dog. Touch, okay? You like petting your dog anyway. Why not get your pet used to being touched? In places where they need to be comfortable being touched that is not natural for them to offer. Example, the paws. I have dogs that are allergic and they normally start to food and they normally start itching in the paws. And just when they feel uncomfortable with that itch, that's when this vet, your chosen vet, will try to hold it and then try to examine it. Most people will just go to the vet when there's already something that bothers them and their dog. Don't wait last minute to get them familiarized with being touched. So when you're walking your dog, this is how I do it. Could vary for any other pet owners out there. Walk your dogs, go to a place where you can stop, give your dog some water, and then try to pet them. And since you're gonna pet them anyway, try to slowly move to the parts where they're uncomfortable being touched. Example, again, the paw, the ears, okay, the gums, the teeth, and then maybe after that, give them a treat for it, okay? I want to give a shout out to my teacher, Terry Ryan. Excuse me. Terry would always tell everybody one of her biggest tips were make the scary thing appear first, the touching, before the treat. And it makes a lot of sense because for a lot of people, we try to lure the dog. And then right after showing that lure, the treat, that's when the bad things happen. That's when they get, touched in places where they don't want to. That's where they go to the crate, which they don't normally like. At least for my dogs, they didn't normally like at first. They didn't like their crate. I had to teach them to like it. So the treat, no matter how high value it is, it becomes a cue that the bad things are about to happen. So make sure that the not so good, or the bad things are going to happen first, like the touching in places where they don't like, and then the good stuff happens. Okay? So in the future, they start looking forward to being held in places that used to not be comfortable for them to be touched. So that's one tip. And then after that, you want to be able to ask a lot of people to do the same thing to your dog. And by a lot of people, it should also be your vet. Okay? You have to be proactive at this. You can't just be reactive. You might want to invite a lot of people and ask them to slowly touch your dog's body in places where he didn't used to like, and then they themselves will offer your dog really high value treats. Okay? There's that. You will not let your dogs be touched by unfamiliar people when, one, he doesn't even allow you to touch that part of his body. It will be unfair for other people to start and do it for you without you giving a primer, because they just might get bit, or your dog might run away, or your dog might keep barking, or he's gonna get stressed, you're gonna get stressed, and he's gonna feel it. So do that, do your part, and then slowly transition it to other people. Then go to the vet without any agenda other than let the vets in that clinic carry your dog and then give him some yummy treats and then leave. Okay? Being carried is enough. Yummy treats, yummy treats, yummy treats. Go home. Go back to the vet. Then start asking your vet for like 30 seconds, massage your dog, and then give him a jackpot. Like a whole lot of treats, really yummy treats. Then leave. Go back to the vet. It doesn't have to be every day. It could be every week. Then ask whoever is there, even the handlers, even the assistants, ask them to handle your dog, and then start asking them to massage your dog, and then start being a little bit more aggressive, you know. And by aggressive, I don't mean harsh. I just mean a little bit of, you know, hold it, count 30 seconds, the dog tries to pull his hand away, just hold it, and then after, did I say 20 seconds, 30? No, maybe 10. And then let go. If the dog can't afford to stay in that position for 10 seconds, make it 5, make it 3, I don't care. Hold your breath, and then let go. Give the dogs a lot of treats. Or you can even give the treat to the dog while his paw is being held, or while that body part is being held. So that's how to start making it easier for you and the dog emotionally to visit the vet clinic. What else? Equipment. Okay. The first thing, from my experience, that the doctor will start asking to be done to your dog is to get his weight recorded. This is of all the difficult things that the vets will do to your dog. This is the easiest, and still is a difficult thing. You're gonna put your puppy on a weighing scale, and he doesn't know what he's doing there, and everybody will try to back out, and your poor puppy is feeling sick, trying to scratch, or walking around, and you're gonna have to make him hold still, and just on that day, and he doesn't know what's going on. How unfair is that, right? So might as well train this at home. Okay? So how do you make it easier for the dog? My suggestion, what works for me, especially when I was just starting out, when my dogs were a little bit younger, I teach a mat exercise. I think you've seen me do this in one of my videos, in one of my training vlogs. I teach them to go on a mat and to lie down on the mat. So if you keep doing that, then they realize that the mat is a good thing, right? And then you bring the mat everywhere you go and train them to be on it with high value treats. And then you bring the mat, of course, to the vet clinic and then put the mat on the weighing scale and cancel out the weight of your mat. Then you ask your dog to go on the mat, and he goes into a down, or he sits and be still for 2 seconds, then you can easily get his weight. It doesn't normally work as easy as that, because there's a lot of work behind the scenes before you get to that part. Again, these exercises you can do at home, not even in the vet clinic. Okay? Preparation is key. You're engineering the scene of going to a vet clinic, the experience of being in a vet clinic, and the process of going through the examination a little bit better. A better experience for you. Okay? Next, if you have any ideas, just write it down. Handling, okay. Finally, it's the muzzle. I have a dog that could potentially bite other people, and that's Kahati. And I taught Kahati, he's 10 now. Probably when I got him, he was 9 years ago. I immediately went online and found what I believe is the nicest design of a muzzle. And this is the Baskerville muzzle, if you're familiar with it. It's silicone. The dog can actually eat. You can train the dog wearing the muzzle, and he can drink, he can pant, all that good stuff that the dogs are normally doing, even without um, a muzzle on. So it's called Baskerville. I know that there's a lot of other brands now, but that was 9, 10 years ago. Ordered it online, brought it here, and then I started making him wear and training him that the muzzle is an opportunity to get rewarded. So now it's not, he hasn't worn it for a really long time because his allergy toward other people has gotten uh, less. So I can handle him. People can handle him without wearing muzzle. So yeah, so it's gotten a lot better. But my tip for you is to start teaching your dog to accept a muzzle because you're gonna have to need it anyway. Okay? For some of you with dogs that don't even care about who's touching them, don't even care where you bring them, doesn't even care about grooming and all that husbandry thing, good for you. But for most people, we need it. And the best thing that you can do is to make that unfamiliar, uncomfortable thing become something that they look forward to wearing. And you can do that at home. In fact, you know what? I encourage people with puppies to start teaching them immediately to accept using the muzzle because you'll never know when you'll need it. Okay? It's just as important to me as teaching your dog to accept collar and leashes very early on. Okay? And it should not be forced. I do have my own opinions about people just trying to put their collars on and the leash on the first day that they get the puppy. It could be a different discussion. But be very conservative, especially when you're putting something around the muzzle. It's not, if you find that putting a collar and leash on is really hard for the dog to accept, even more so a muzzle. Because you'll never know, 6 months down the line, your dog can have something that you have to, bring him to the vet for, and then he starts snapping at everyone, and that's when you're gonna put him in. That's when you're gonna put the muzzle on him, and this is how traumatic could that experience be, right? So this is why vets have bad reps, and this is what I discussed when I was invited by Southwestern University in Cebu. Why vets have bad reps, and that was my discussion. And I think I'm gonna post the full video once they have turned it over to me, and I'm gonna post it on my website as well. Let me just take a sip. Okay. Next. So, practically speaking, you want to create great memories for the dogs to have in that clinic setting with that specific doctor or all doctors. In fact, you know what? All doctors, they need to have great memories with these people for you to be able to outweigh the future bad experiences and memories they're going to be having with them in the clinic, with the equipment, and all that stuff. Okay, did you get that? You have to create great memories to outweigh the future bad memories that your pet, your dog, your cat, your squirrel will have upon visiting the vet. My dog, my dog is tolerant of everybody except for the vets. I'm not saying one vet. I mean, the moment, it's just amazing that he knows every time he gets a home visit from one of my favorite vets, Doc Rocky. I want to give a shout out. Hi, Doc. One of the 3 favorite vets, or 4. His black Nissan X-Trail. My dog Alab knows the sound of that. And he starts barking. He even shows teeth, which is very rare. Uh, but yeah, I've never gotten him used to liking Doc Rocky. Can't blame him. I can't blame him. So anyway, so that's a little story that I had to share. So you have to outweigh the bad memories that your dogs are gonna have in that particular setting with these people that they're gonna see every time they're already feeling ill, and they need to be touched in places they don't want to be touched by unfamiliar people. So, recipe for nightmare for them. Mm. Just the right temperature, sarap. So there's that. Lastly, you have to be consistent at doing this. You cannot be just like anything that you want to train your dogs to do. You can't be complacent. Complacency is it ruins the training. It ruins your expectations. It ruins. You can't just tell me that, oh Brad, he's already okay with his vet, and then come back to me saying, oh Brad, he did his vet, but he already knows the drill. No, because you weren't consistent at it. When was the last time that you brought him to that same vet, and that same vet gave him the shot of his life? You know what I mean? The shot of his life that he would never, ever erase in his memory or emotions. No, you have to outweigh the bad memory. In fact, even if you don't need to go to the vet, keep going to the vet and give them really good memories. I have one more technique to share, and that is using one very special treat for that specific scenario. And I want to discuss this in maybe next week, and I'm going to call it exclusivity. They will only get an exclusive treat. They will only get this very special treat exclusively when they're visiting a vet, when they're being handled by a vet, when they're being examined by the staff of the vet clinic. And in my case, it's bone marrow. The bulalo. Not necessarily the bone, but it's really the fat inside, the bone marrow itself, that gel-like fat goodness for them. That's the only time they get fucking bone marrow. And it's a good excuse for them to convince themselves to be tolerant of these people and this scenario, because what they're about to have, it's kind of worth it. You know what I mean? It's kind of worth it. Imagine they do not get bulalo, bone marrow, any other setting, any other day, other than being in the vet clinic. How's that for a trade-off? Alab does not love going to the vet clinic, but at least it's not emotionally that tough on him, because he has something to look forward to, because right after that, he will get fucking bulalo. I want to mention my Pops. Hi Pops, Eric. So every time he brings his dogs to the vet, he buys them burger. And specifically, the Jollibee Yum Burger with cheese. I don't know about you, but when I used to eat Jollibee, at least the burgers, I love Jollibee burgers more than McDonald's. Okay? And that's highly debatable. You know what? What do you prefer? Jollibee, specifically burgers, or McDonald's burgers? You can comment on the comment section. But anyway, he will do that, and the only time they get these Jollibee burgers is when they go to the vet. What a fucking trade-off, right? And his dogs are chow hounds. They're amazing at snorting food, especially when they're Jollibee Yum Burger. They don't care about all these handling. They're so good at that. They don't care about, whatever you stick in their body. Doesn't matter. Tourniquet. They don't care. Give me that fucking hamburger. Give me that fucking hamburger. They're gonna tolerate and even love whatever you're doing to them. Just give me the hamburger. Okay. My friend Ilvana says, McDo for the win. Sure. I'm not arguing. Yeah, McDo, why not? But you know what? McDonald's in the States, kind of bland for my palate. Again, you can argue. Completely debatable. I don't care. Okay? Okay. Yes? I was trying to get my attention. What? Go back to your place. He's sleeping. Go back to your place. You sleep. So, for husbandry, I want to give a shout out to one of my teachers, Laura Monaco Torelli. I think I got that right this time. So Laura, Teacher Laura, you can follow her on Instagram and Facebook, and she's fucking good at teaching people and her dogs to make their lives easier upon visiting the vet. And she teaches husbandry, and I think now she also teaches online. And visit her Instagram and check out all her training videos, and she's amazing. She's so popular at what she does. She's one of the teachers at the school where I studied, the Karen Pryor Academy. She's the one that interviewed me, and she's, of all the things that you can train your dogs, this I think is what she has perfected, husbandry. Excuse me. That was so candid, and that's so me, burping in front of everybody. So yeah, check her out. Check her website. She's fucking amazing at this. What else? Yeah, check Terry Ryan. And then check my training videos out. Okay? So did I miss out on anything? Okay. So far, so good. And those are what I have in my notes. And I will save this video. I think I can save this video. And it's only been 34 minutes, so I'm good. So what's the name again? Laura Monaco Torelli, or Laura Torelli. Go to my Instagram. You can find her there. I follow her. Laura Torelli. That's her name. She has bangs. She has blonde hair. She has 2 dogs and probably 2 cats. Yes, Ilvana. She has Ridgebacks. She has Ridgebacks, and it's amazing. She's the one that I've been telling you about because she has really amazing Ridgebacks. So yeah, she teaches a lot of husbandry. She focuses a lot on husbandry, and she posts a lot of videos about it. Yes, you're welcome for the info. KQ, kind of late, girl. This is perfect for you because Kao's very young. You should have tuned in at 9 a.m. So okay, I'm gonna be posting this in my website anyway, so you're not gonna miss out. What else? Yeah, my tips are start at home. Okay. The handling, the husbandry. Oh, before I forget, it's very unfair if you have a dog that has intolerance to other people. Let's casually call it aggression, although I hate that term because your dogs are not aggressive all the time anyway. They have some discomfort toward things, but they're not aggressive by the time that they wake up. You know what I mean? Um, so it's not fair if you just allow your dog that have discomfort being handled that could potentially behave dangerously and be handled by the doctor and people. I think it's your responsibility to know how to handle your own dog, especially in situations that they need to be um, in the uncomfortable place or with people who uh, they do not prefer handling them. That's your responsibility. You're not just gonna leave your dog with someone that could get bit. Uh, no, I have a dog that can potentially bite a stranger, doctors, vet, doesn't matter, especially around me. I'm not just gonna leave him with my vet and his assistants and then just, you know, do your job. It's no, I have to do my job. You have to do your job as well to make it easy for everybody, including yourself and the dog, to be okay in the situation. So learn how to handle your own dog. Okay, start at home. Go back to when I started this video, and then just touch them in places where they. Those are the basics. Again, husbandry. Next, be proactive. Bring them to places where they could be later on uncomfortable going. Okay. The vet clinics, car rides. Some dogs don't like car rides. What else? Even grooming places. Even grooming salons. Okay, especially in grooming salons. I mean, that's the only time that they see when they hear the what else? The blow dryer. They hate. My dogs hate it. They like being bathed. It's okay for my dogs to have haircut, but that blow dryer, it's so punishing. So it's really loud. It's not the air. It's not the heat. There's hardly any heat, but it's that loud sound that they fucking hate. And I hate it too. Um, okay, hold on. Did you hear about the dog that died because the vet handlers were holding him down for a simple procedure? So sad. No, I didn't hear about that. And there's so many stories very similar to that. And my first reaction is there any truth to this? Is it written on paper, or is it just he said, she said? So that's practically it. Can you see what I'm trying to do? I have longer hair here, and I'm just gonna tuck it behind my ear. So, that didn't work. So, I am now opening the platform for question and answers for 5 minutes. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap up. I have wrapped up, and and I'm gonna end this video, so it's a lot shorter and it's a lot easier for people to watch while I'm having coffee. Oh, toothbrush. So this is also a part of husbandry. Alab can't have that bone to get, to chew because he's lost some teeth. And I don't wanna, my doctor and I agreed that we should not let him have something really tough to chew on anymore. So instead of giving him that, I had to teach him to be okay with brushing his teeth. And you know what? I wasn't really a believer about brushing the teeth because I can just used to give them bones. But now that I am pushed to the corner and have no other options, but to brush his teeth, then after 3 months of eating kibble, he normally gets a buildup of tartar. After a month of brushing his teeth, every other night, 98% gone. And I'm so happy about it. It's so good. Now you don't even have to scrub really hard. You just have to scrub. You just have to let him like it at first. And that itself, if you do it consistently, I just do it every other night. And sometimes I don't. After a month, 98%. The corners, of course, I let that go. Because not even the bone can go to the corners. But man, no bad breath, because I rotate my dog's food every 3-4 months. I change it. I keep a kibble, a one brand of kibble that I know they're okay with, because whenever I leave them with someone or in a hotel, I want the people that's taking care of them to have an easier time feeding them. So kibble is good. Also, if I travel with them, kibble is a lot easier, but I really prefer natural food. They're on raw now. Okay, we have a question. We'll look for this in your website. Okay. Okay. Yup, those pearly whites. White. Yes, Ilvana. 3 more minutes. What else? Yeah, so that's husbandry for you. Getting them used to, using really good toothpaste. So you don't really have to use toothpaste. I use this one particular brand given to me by my friend Connie. Hi, Connie. But, I don't know. You can use VCO. They love VCO. VCO is really good. They love VCO. And use that as a toothpaste. Us humans, we don't need toothpaste. Really. We just need to brush our teeth. Yeah. I mean, even with just water, baking soda is good. For humans. I'm not going to use baking soda in their mouth, but yeah, toothpaste. First, I think I gave virgin coconut oil at first. I dunk the toothbrush in VCO, and then he starts licking it. Let the dog lick it. Let your dogs lick it. I know. Calm down, malicious people. Let the dogs lick it, and then maybe later on, after a few weeks or days, just start doing some circular motions. Start being a little bit more animated. So that's how you start doing it. Yeah, VCO. What else? Peanut butter. Sure, peanut butter is okay. If you use it as treats, then make your own peanut butter. Instead of buying those really... I'm just worried about the sugar content. We have 1 more minute, and I'm gonna call it a day. And it's just 9:44 in the morning. So yeah, I do not know how to end this. I'm afraid I won't be able to save it. It's the first time, yay! Q&A Fridays, y'all. Okay, it's 9:45. Thank you so much for watching, and tune in again next week as I talk about other things, such as maybe treats. Let's do a Q&A on treats next week, and how I prepare mine, how I do, even, you know what, even the sizes, it matters. Size matters, guys. Shit. Let's stop this already. Goodbye, and I'll see you again soon.